Hi, everybody. This is Tracing Roots Telling Tales. Tuesdays on Wednesday. Genealogy with Donna, episode 41. How about that? Oh, I was out this morning early trying to get ahead of the tourist crowd. You know, the crowd looking for the snow, but there's only rain, and it was rain, and I got wet, and oh well. And there's still no snow, and there probably won't be snow until Monday, maybe. And people are up here to ski. So the rain is just melting the snow. So if you think you're going to ski at Snow Summit in Big Bear Lake, you're sadly mistaken. And I'm really sorry, but what can I say? It's soggy out there, but the squirrels are still out. Just how it is. Okay, so here we go. The final episode of 2025. We're going to, and as we talked about last week, we talked about legacy and what our ancestors teach us. Today, we're continuing the conversation because DNA doesn't just tell us where we're from. It often explains who we are. You know, last week, I had a card that gave traits, and amongst the list was whether or not you could smell the asparagus odor, whether you were an artist, or if you had a cleft chin, or were susceptible to cavities. There is more on the list for today. So I want to tell you that as we head into 2026, we're going to go deeper. Not just into records, but into traits, into patterns and connections that shape who we are today. We'll be talking more about DNA, inherited traits, and the fascinating way our ancestors will still show up in our lives, even though they might be 2 or 3 generations removed. Sometimes in ways we never expected them to be. So if you've ever said, that explains a lot, you're going to love what's coming up. And don't forget that there will be times that you will wonder where it came from, but if you take a DNA test, it will be able to tell you if it's on a maternal or paternal side, interestingly enough, and that's even without your parents' DNA. So, after taking a DNA test, let's, if you so desire, then we can talk about what suddenly you've been confused about, but now makes sense that you'd had your DNA done. So, in talking about traits, I had gotten another one. Let me give you an example of what traits might be. I am one of 3 sisters. Unfortunately, the other 2 sisters are deceased at this time. But my niece from my sister Nancy has taken her DNA test, and it's broken down her ethnicity. Now, Nancy married Nardo, and Nardo is from the Philippines. So her child, Mahal, will have 50% his traits, 50% her traits. That would be my guess, as Mahal is a female. So when I looked at the match that had come through for Mahal taking the DNA, she was 52% Filipino and those islands. And where I thought that she might have some Irish, she didn't have any Irish because I'm from Ulster, Ireland, very specific in my DNA because I'm 37% Irish, and they've broken it down to Celtic Irish. So I'm part of the Vikings. How about that? But it didn't come across in equal measure with Nancy and Nardo, so their daughter Mahal. Now, I don't have the other 2 children's DNA tests. I don't know if they're going to take them, but if they do, it would be interesting to see over, and I'm sorry my sisters aren't alive because we could do this. So we have a mother and a father, and then we have 3 children. Of the 3 children, what amount of DNA in equal parts would the 3 children have? When you match the 3 children, how are their parts? Are they in equal measure? will I show up as much Irish as Nancy and Linda? Would Nancy have a trait that Linda and I didn't maybe have much of? It would be interesting to do that. Mahal has the opportunity with her sister and brother to be able to do that for her parents. And I'm hoping that she does. I hope that she sees this. Maybe I will tag her in it after posts and ask her to check that out, because that would be a very interesting. Hi, Deanna. Hi, Phoebe. How you doing? Thanks for joining me. Have you two done your DNA? And do you have siblings? And have you compared it? Because I'm very excited now that I have seen what Mahal's and mine are. Now, granted, she's a generation away. She would be on the par of, my daughters. She would be on their cousins. So it would be that same level. But it would be interesting to see. Anyway, here are a few more traits that I have been given doing my DNA. Competitiveness, determination, desire to succeed, doing things alone, dimples, earlobes, whether they're attached or not attached, ear wiggling. No, I cannot do that. Eye color. My dad had hazel. My mother had blue. Isn't that horrible? I don't remember. Earwax. There are two types of earwax, dry and wet. I have the wet. It would be interesting to know. Did my sisters have that? I don't know. Eyelash length. And they're on the shortish side. Flat feet. Oh, yes, thank you very much. Not super flat, but no arch. Freckles. Do you think? I can give you pictures of my mom and my uncle at the age of, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. Oh, they have freckles. They also had bright carrot red hair. Hair color, hair type, curly or straight. Now, interestingly enough, I was born, I was born with curly hair. This was not at the time that they had detangler. So my mother got tired of my hair being tangled, and it was long. So she had it cut off and gave me a perm. I am now 75. That happened when I was 5 years old. For 70 years, I am still wondering why that happened. Did they think that the perm was going to somehow tame my hair? I don't know. I don't know. So I didn't have, my hair wasn't as curly. It wound up being more straight. And of course, you can see now it's straight. Well, it's limp. It's wet. Well, I think it's still wet in the back. And when I got COVID, there was just this little patch right here that curled up. In fact, my hairdresser noticed it. That was back in May of 21. Oh, that would have been August. But, and it's still there, but not to the extent that I'd had curly hair. And I have pictures of me having curly hair. Being introverted or extroverted is also a trait. I am introverted. I believe my mother was introverted. I can tell you my dad was in the Navy and he had all kinds of friends when we went down to the ship. So I don't know whether that was, I don't know. I didn't unfortunately know my father well enough to know. So that's just how that was. I think he liked to be, one of the guys, but past that, I really don't have a clue. Anyway, that's just some of the others. I know I gave you the whole list last week. There's more to add to the list. And let me tell you, this is only to I. There are many more. So next week I'll do another. I think I have a blank cardboard here that I can do it on, and we'll get even more. And in the next 2 weeks, we'll have another full card of traits. So that would be cool. So Phoebe says she has done her DNA, but her younger sister is unfortunately passed away, and she doesn't think her older sister has done it or wants to. That's too bad, because if your older sister had children, she would be able to pass on what her traits are to the children, and then they could find out what theirs were. But there are people that, have negative connotations of what DNA are, and I can appreciate their hesitancy, but I'm too curious, and want to know why and how and where and, all that kind of stuff. So that's why I've done mine. And I have, I always thought I was Celtic. I did not know that for sure. And it turns out, yes, I had it confirmed through the DNA testing. So I'm super happy about that. And it just kind of helps you to know your background, helps you to know where you came from. Not where I'm going, but where I came from. So that's kind of cool. And it gives some information to, the generations that are already out there in front of me. So I don't mind doing that. It certainly is that my parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, whom I all knew, I knew all of them, didn't seem to leave for us. Oh, she lives in England. Oh, how cool. That's fun. A little cold there now, huh? Not any different than it is here, I guess. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. I wish you a happy new year and hope that you are safe and warm and dry. I know that there's of you out there that are without power, and I pray for you every day. And I hope that the storms that are there or coming do not affect you and your living conditions. And other than that, I will say I will see you next year. Anyway, take care. Have a wonderful weekend, too. Bye-bye.